There are some things in life that are certain, and that is wherever you go, somewhere in the world will be playing Sting. That's Englishman in New York playing behind me. Just stopped for a coffee at a cafe on the way to the Old Quarter. This is a traditional cafe, and I've gone for a milk iced coffee with evaporated milk, like carnation milk, what we get in England. 28,000 Vietnamese dong, which is about $1.70 at today's exchange rate. Very, very sweet, I'm sure, but very, very good. Oh, that's incredible. That really is incredible. It's so strong. And it's not as sweet as I thought, actually. Really do amazing coffee here. I remember when I was here 13 years ago how much I loved the coffee. That is the Vietnamese version of Wacky Races. I have to say I'm pretty jealous. I would love to ride in one of these cars. I saw them yesterday at the market, and it's like the parents control them with the remote control. Yeah. Maybe one of them for the gym. Well, it's not really a gym, it's a man cave. One of the questions I've always had when I've been watching these videos on YouTube, like planning this trip, primarily to Malaysia rather than Vietnam, is the type of gear people bring. I didn't really find too much that kind of catered for my needs, but I'm happy to share like what I've taken on this trip. And I'm not saying it's right, but I think a week in now, it's definitely working for me. So the first thing, I have a 3 UK mobile SIM. I've had that since we moved to Australia, really so my parents could get hold of me. I didn't want to change the number or make them incur mega expensive phone call charges to call me. So 3, like an unlimited plan, I think they call it, and I pay about £18 a month. I think it's probably about £20 now, but that pretty much lets you use your UK SIM card overseas. You can use data, calls and text without any additional charge. It does say in the small print that you need to return to the UK, I think either every 3 or 6 months. It doesn't make any difference. We've both been using them for a long time. They do not cut you off. And I was using an EE SIM card before, the same thing. The other thing I'm using is a RAV Power 26800 power bank. Only bought that last week, but that is proving a lifesaver on this trip. My iPhone just has a terrible battery life. And that is helping me out massively. Also keeping my MacBook charged, so I'm able to keep editing on the go. The other thing is this new camera I'm using, the RX100 Mark 7. One of the things I like about it the most is that it kind of does everything my DSLR does, or did. I sold it. The only thing is I wish it had a 10mm lens, because it just makes my face a bit too close. I have to keep my arm extended that bit further. And the other thing I absolutely love about this camera is that it has a USB input, so I don't need to carry a charger for the battery, which in the past has proven to be a pain, especially having multiple cameras. So at the moment I'm just using this camera and my iPhone XS to film on. Usually when I'm being lazy I'll just use the iPhone, or like when I was walking down the mountain the other day, I knew there was a strong chance I'd break this camera, I just use my iPhone. Then I have my iPad. iPad's great for flying, it's great for watching movies or video in bed, wherever you are. Like even when we're up the mountain the other day, that would have been great. I just have my iPhone, but again, that would have been perfect. And I've got my MacBook. The only reason I have my MacBook is for editing. I have tried editing with my iPad with very little success. And also from a file management perspective, it just doesn't do the job. So you still need a computer, I think. That will probably change soon. I also have 2 external hard drives just because my 1 terabyte of disk space on my MacBook is not enough for all the content I've got on it and trying to manipulate files for movie editing. Then I'm using a Rode mic with this, a Joby a Joby Gorilla Pod with ball head tripod, the 1K version I got from JB Hi-Fi a few weeks ago. And other than that, are just like 2 bags full of cables and another, it's like the Crazy Dog song. And another battery pack because I thoroughly believe in redundancy, so in case one fails me, I've always got backup. So that is what I am travelling with at the moment. And then I bought some clothes, they seemed essential. I've got my running shoes, I've got my hiking boots, I've got my Toms. And also I bought a MiFi dongle that I bought when I was back in the UK. In the hope I can get a SIM card today. Again, that is proving to be very tricky. I kind of get the feeling I'm being ripped off wherever I go, whereas in Malaysia it was so easy. I'll link everything below anyway, so you can check it out in more detail as to what I've got. This is where I was the other day, but today it's pedestrianised. I do love a bit of pedestrianisation, and there's some kind of parade on. And the reason I'm looking up there, I can't help but wonder who's drinking beer, because then I could have a beer. Mind you, it is 11 o'clock in the morning, that's virtually tea time. Hello. There's some kind of festival sponsored by Rossi. Rossi? I don't know Rossi. I do know Rossi. Of course I know Rossi.
It's an honor, Agent Rossi. Please, just Dave.
Something very embarrassing just happened. A lady pointed out that my shorts were halfway down my arse. I told her that was 20,000 dong, but I don't think she got it. Awkward. I also now remember I have been here before. I remember being here 13 years ago. I came to watch puppets around. And I bought a very legitimate North Face bag that served me for many years. You know, they probably still sell the line of product I purchased. Let's go see, because I see North Face on the wall. They've also gone Superdry. I don't think Superdry is very big when I was last here. An emporium of utter shite. There are some very nice bags here. I think my tactic is to say I'm from the Superdry compliance department to try and get a discount. They are very good fakes. I actually really like the Oakley bag. Very good attention to detail, although the zippage is not quite as good, I'm sure, as what Oakley would push out, but yeah, she started the bidding at 900,000 dong, which isn't that much, and she was open to offers. I just have no room for another bag. I would have to sack off the new bag I bought, which is fine. That was only 30 Australian dollars. I'm here for another day. Maybe. I actually really like it. But do I need another bag? Do I need another bag? I am so pleased I hung around Hanoi today. This is just me in my absolute element. Market, Sunday, people watching. It's also really nice to see families out and about on a Sunday doing their thing while not at work. Life goals. I mean, we started at 150, I got it down to 70. I have no use for this shirt that probably has never seen a man-made fibre ever, or even come close to one, or even been dunked in the same water that one has been dunked in. However, for like $4, I now have a piece of memorabilia, albeit tacked, and I'm happy with that. I'm even going to wear it. Now that is very impressive. It's almost as tall as me when I stand this far back. In fact, if I stand closer, it's actually almost as tall as me. That is incredible. There we go, there we go. Hey! Down there is clearly where it's at, but it just looks a bit too busy. I'm just getting busy everywhere. Stopped for a well-earned bottle of lager beer, another bottle of Hanoi beer. Oh, that noise was annoying. It's like I had tinnitus. I have 2 hours before I need to leave for my food tour, so I'm just going to make the most of looking at options for tomorrow, having a beer, checking on the latest upload of yesterday's video.